What is up, guys? Welcome to This Week in Wrestling by the Straight Edge Wrestling podcast. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below. Head over and follow us on Twitter, which you can see up above, at SEW_podcast. Have you found the week in wrestling?
Well, Wednesday night again killed it. Other two nights not so well.
Yeah, I think the other two nights have been a bit hit and miss, as seems to be the sort of the MO of the week. Once again, there was bits of Raw I really liked, bits of SmackDown I really liked. But yeah, Wednesday kills it. And last night at Hard to Kill, actually, for the most part, did a really, really amazing job. And that's the most Impact I've watched in many, many, many years. I thought they did it. I thought they did a great job. Like, obviously, you said about the way in which you thought they should have booked that main event at Hard to Kill. In that Moxley should be there. Yeah. I think it's a shame that it wasn't that way, because I think that was a very good idea. But it was a very good main event, and they managed to make Moose look like a star in that. And they've got a million different things now to go with.
I've got to admit, some of the things with Moose though, I saw in the highlights. I haven't watched the actual show yet.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, and some of the stuff that he's doing, like Cruiserweight's doing, you're like that. There are sometimes you just think, why are you doing this when you look at the size of you?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, like I just this week's Grilling JR podcast, JR said that same point about like Big Show. He was like, you've never needed to see Big Show do a tope suicida or a hurricanrana. He said, because a big man just does big man stuff sometimes.
Oh, I'd love to see that though.
Yeah, but he said as a generic point of they don't need to do those things even if they can, which I think is a good point. Yeah, and it's like, which makes it always a little bit more special when you see like Keith Lee do that some ridiculous stuff that he does, you know. But yeah, that's a good point. And Sami Callihan and I've forgotten. Eddie Edwards, yeah, they killed that match. That was a brutal match.
I'll admit, it was that one and the main event were the two matches I really wanted to see. Yeah, mainly because I wanted to see how well they were going to put off the barbed wire match.
Barbed wire, yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, I'm a bit hit and miss on those sort of matches because I think they get
on a fucking crying your eyes out.
I think they get a bit carried away in some regards. But I think they've done a very good job there, and I don't think they got carried away with it too much. I don't think it was like Kenny Omega and John Moxley's barbed wire thing, where I was just like, Jesus Christ, someone is going to break something really badly. I think they did a really good job. But yeah, as a whole, it makes me really happy to see Impact doing well. Like, it really does, just because they've had a lot of hit and misses over the years, you know, but they have always been quite consistent in trying their best to do new innovative shit, you know.
Well, the problem with Impact's always been it's just their leadership.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And the right people in it.
And it seems that now with Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, they're actually going the right trajectory. You know, they're building new stars again. Because that was, let's face it, that was what Impact was always great at, right? Was building.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, they're trying to throw Kenny down everyone's face.
Yeah, but if they can use Kenny to build a Rich Swann and a Moose, that's good business. That's a good deal for them.
No offense, technically already in Impact. Those two are already built. They're already.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, you know, to like the wider audience, because like for example, I know who Moose is. I've seen him about, but that's the most I've seen of him, and I was like, he looked great.
Moose has always been quite good from when he first walked in the door. I mean, first watching him.
Oh yeah, but like I mean, I even heard like, you know, Meltzer and Johnson, all these people say that was probably the best he's ever looked, and because people who don't normally watch it, people like me who don't normally watch Impact, got to see it and push it to a much wider audience. So I think if they're able to get those eyeballs, which AEW's providing them, it's only a good thing for Impact. But like, as I say, there's a lot of things about the shows which make me just sort of go, oh Jesus Christ, why? How is their production so poor? But they're little nitpicky things, but which they should, you know, 20 years into their existence probably have ironed out by now, but there we are. It is what it is.
This is what happens when you've had about 5 to 6 different freaking people in charge of your company.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it is. It's like yeah, no, you're right. When they change hands so much, they never know who's coming or going. But Monday Night Raw.
Well,
what do you think?
I quite like the Randy Orton Triple H side of things. I know some people were shat on it, but it was quite cool how they did things and leading to it.
Yeah.
A little disappointed I didn't get to see a little bit more of a fight between Randy Orton and Triple H, but
yeah. I mean, because obviously they only announced Triple H about, I think, 2 hours or so before the show went on the air, because obviously we know that Drew McIntyre tested positive for COVID-19, so they had to pull him from the show, which was supposed to be in the main event, was supposed to be Randy and Drew, I believe. So they had to figure something out, and they figured that Triple H may draw numbers. I'll say this, how wrong they were, in that third hour is one of the least watched third hours in Raw's history, but there we are.
Yeah, but I can't quite say, unfortunately for them, that's anyone's fault in that third hour.
Neither can I.
And even reading some of these messages that I say on there, the problem was what you had between opening to end.
Yeah.
Especially when you had, don't get me wrong, I quite like the first one of Keith Lee and Sheamus, where you went from a tag team and then all of a sudden those two are trying to kill each other. One, I still want to know why they suddenly went from being huggy, powy, powy to I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, as I said, I said this to you before we went on air, because I've heard so many people say the same thing, and I don't know if WWE thought that they told us, because they damn sure didn't.
No, even the commentators sounded confused when we come back from the break.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's one of those ridiculous WWE tropes.
And then you have the whole 2 matches with Jeff Hardy, and then you got the 2 fucking matches with Riddle.
Yeah, and there were people backstage. Asuka was backstage. Why wasn't she with Charlotte? Why wasn't she with her partner? There was people backstage who could have been on the show and weren't. And that just makes no sense to me.
Well, makes no sense is why Flair still got it.
Why Flair? Oh, Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he's fucking pumping blue pills right now.
I'm all for that little bit with using Rick to be against Charlotte
on a regular basis right now.
I mean, he's probably been doing that since about 1985 at this rate, probably. But to be fair, though, it was one of those things where just nothing much happened on Raw other than, like, the only thing people spoke about at the end of that show was Alexa shooting the fire at Randy Orton's face, really. That's it. And I don't know where they go from this. I said this same thing last week, in that what the payoff here isn't going to be Randy Orton versus Alexa. So I don't quite see where they go with Alexa. What happens with Alexa out of this? Because she's been a freaking star in all this.
I think for the time being on that, it's just what you got to wait to find out, because I reckon there was one story that they're having very good. Seems right now Raw and SmackDown can pull off one really, really good story.
Yeah. They basically drop the ball if they try and do more than one thing at once. Like SmackDown's basically got anything Roman's doing, and then something else may happen, and same with Raw. Yeah, which is a shame. So Wednesday. Let's move on to Wednesday. Screw Raw. So Wednesday is like the wrestling week, wrestling day of the week, basically every Wednesday. NXT, obviously, its focus is now going more towards the Dusty Classic. So we're getting a lot more of that, a lot more focusing on the tag teams and the tournament, which is fine because they're still building stuff in between, but it does mean that there's lots of matches on the card this week where you know what the finish is going to be, So when you had matches like, what was it, the Grizzled Young Vets versus Everrise, we knew what the finish was going to be at that match.
Yeah, I got to admit though, although they managed to convince you quite well through the match,
it
may not be that way, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, I mean the NXT and AEW as well, both of them are very good at doing that sort of thing where you think, I actually don't know who's going to win this whilst the match is going on. But then it's like, they're booking and who they want to be in their finale. But yeah, I'm never going to criticise match quality though of either NXT or AEW. It's like they always put on a great show. Once again, one of the highlights of the show being Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano.
Austin Theory is always the highlight. He's a superstar.
Yeah, it just seems to be a common theme every week that those guys are killing it.
Just Austin Theory.
Just Austin Theory. And that was good. That was a good match between Dexter Lumis and Gargano. Obviously, they had a bit of a screwy finish there, and Kushida then came down, and they're obviously building towards. I'm going to assume either Lumis and Kushida versus Gargano and Theory, or just a Kushida Theory, Kushida Gargano match.
Well, he's already. I think you'll find it's more the Kushida's going for the North American title. I think he made that pretty straightforward at the end of the match.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know what they're going to go with first. If they're going to go with a tag team thing and then build for the singles match, like a takeover.
Probably do 2 single matches where now Austin Theory's going to get stalled.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, they could. And also, they built a very nice story throughout the show with Finn, the Undisputed Era, Pete Dunne, and Orny Lorcan and stuff.
Yeah, that group you said that were done with the other week.
Well, they are. I mean, where's the main guy?
He's not always there, but they're not done. They've still got these 3 that are together.
Yeah, I mean, by all intents and purposes, they just thought, we're not going to use the main guy anymore. Like, they dumped Pat McAfee for no reason when he was the bloody draw of the thing.
Well, it might be Pat McAfee. I don't know the fucking contract details they got for him. Maybe he's got a Brock Lesnar contract.
No, he doesn't. He's spoken on his podcast many times over the past few weeks about the fact that he wants to be there and they just aren't interested anymore. And it's like, that's so infuriating that they do that shit when he was great in that role. But look, I said from the moment Pete Dunne came back, I actually thought he was going to be the one that was going to get that shot at Finn over Kyle in that ladder match when they had that thing. So I'm glad now they are pivoting to Pete Dunne again.
Yeah, but the thing that's irritating me right now is they keep doing those segments right now where Killian Cross is getting ready to come for Finn. They did it again in that show where they did bits.
Yeah.
And you're just like that. So right now that this is that moment, whatever he does right now doesn't matter until they see me. Yeah, pretty much. But they're obviously going for an Undisputed Era versus with Finn versus Pete Dunne's team, which I think that's going to be great, to be fair. I'm suddenly seeing though where Finn Balor turns on Undisputed and leads the other group. He needs to be the leader. Yeah, I could see him doing that. I do like this whole idea that from beating the living shit out of each other, Kyle O'Reilly and Finn have like become friends or like respect each other for it. I like that. There's always respect when you kick the living shit out of one another.
Yeah, I think that's a really good story. But yeah, they're building some nice little stories there. But as I say, the next month is going to be heavily inundated with.
I know there's
Dusty
like 3 or 4 matches of the Dusty Classic because you've got the beginning of the women's, and they might actually show you the tier feeds.
Who's going to be in it?
How many teams they're going to have in it.
Yeah.
But what I'm really looking forward to for next week is finally having the fight bit.
Oh, Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Because I missed the original one.
Yeah, the first one was great. Oh, see, yeah, the first one was great. So I can't wait for I can't wait for that. I didn't. I was sort of caught off guard. I didn't realise they were bringing it onto TV. I kind of assumed they were going to keep it for Takeover.
And I always love to watch when someone kicks the living shit out of Riddle, so that's why I'm upset that I missed the first one.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was what was that? That was Timothy Thatcher and Riddle, weren't it?
Yeah,
that was. Yeah, that was a great fight. Even though in reality, Riddle would have beat the living fuck out of him, but there we are. It was
very hard, man. No offense, I do think Thatcher could tie Riddle up into a fucking knot.
Oh yeah, but other than Riddle is considered one of the best fighters, like basically of a generation. He just gave it up.
It's just because he likes to put his fingers in places he shouldn't.
Nice. But yeah, no, that'll actually be good. I mean, I don't see it being quite as good as quite as intense as Riddle and Thatcher, just because they just laid their shit in. But I'm looking forward to it. I really thought they'd keep that for a takeover, just because it's something different. But they need something to sort of try and draw a crowd in from AEW. But I fear both shows may be hurt in that this Wednesday is the inauguration of Joe Biden. So I feel like once again both shows are going to be hurt by the fact that people are going to be watching that.
Now people are just fed up over in America of politics.
You'd think so, but whenever you look at the ratings because obviously I look at the ratings from Raw, NXT, AEW, and SmackDown, and whenever I look at them, the news is always beating them. Always beating them.
Everyone wants to know what stupid thing Donald Trump's going to do next.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's like, and so everyone's going to be watching with tenterhooks the inauguration to see what's the next move.
Didn't Donald Trump already say he's not going to that though? Yeah,
but we're not going to talk about the election because YouTube will flag us as they like to do now. AEW once again, I thought had a very stellar show.
Yes, it started off good. Didn't it?
Yeah. It was Pac and Eddie Kingston when at the start. Yeah, Pac and Eddie Kingston. I mean, they were always going to have a great match. That was incredible. And then we moved. What did we move into from there? We moved into Chuck Taylor and Miro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was okay. I'm just not a fan of Miro in this. I just, as of yet, nothing.
Well, I mean, I quite like the match because I like the way it was intense all the way through from both.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a good match. It's just I'm not sold on Miro. I think they dropped the ball on him basically from his debut. I don't know. It's just they kind of went with him being like a laid back, chill dude, and now they're having to go back on themselves, back to being like the brute which he was in like WWE. So yeah, there's nothing which sort of draws me. But yeah, it was great. It was a good match. It was a good match.
Unfortunately, Chuck is now stuck being a servant for a month.
Being a servant, yeah. Because whilst Trent's out injured.
And Orange Cassidy, he just looked really upset about it.
He just looked utterly defeated. And then we had the New Year's resolutions from the Inner Circle. It was funny, which is obviously leading to a tag team match between the Inner Circle to determine who's going to be the Inner Circle's lead
I'm
tag team.
I'm upset that they left Warlord out of that one.
You what, sorry?
Warlord doesn't get to be involved in that match. I think Warlord needs to go find a tag team partner.
I know. Well, when Sammy Guevara at the end, when Sammy was sort of going, yeah, Jake, like, and doing that, I thought Jericho was going to interrupt and be like, no, it's Jake and Wardlow. You need to fight. That's what I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, I did quite like the bit in there when Sammy's like, "You're a tag team whore."
Yeah, you're a tag team slut. I thought that was great. Yeah,
everyone's reaction.
Yeah, well, whilst we're on the news of Chris Jericho, let's talk Chris Jericho. And let's talk about how much of a fucking moron, once again, Chris Jericho is. So he announced that he had COVID back in September and didn't tell anyone, obviously, which is fair enough. That's up to him. He doesn't have to tell people. It seemed like it was the dates in which he gave. People are pulling it apart because it doesn't seem to line up with times that he was off. But whatever. But then he went on his podcast this week and said, "Look, I didn't have any symptoms. It's not a big deal." Downplaying it. And you know what? This is so fucking dumb. It's just so dumb. And throughout all of this is the man where basically, if the timescales work out, he had a concert where we know thousands and thousands and thousands of people then tested positive at that concert. He held that concert just a couple of weeks before he says that he got COVID. So that correlates with that one. And I remember at the time we said on this show about how stupid it was for him to be having this concert in the middle of a pandemic without masks on. But there we are. He's very slowly losing a lot of support from people who, usually speak very highly of him, you know, in the wrestling world, which, you know, it's his own doing at the end of the day. That there's people that are going to really turn on him.
You think he's a oh crap, I forgot his name. So an almost former president.
Oh yeah, no, he is. He's a Trump supporter. He donates to Trump's campaign. He was quite vocal about the fact that he donates to Trump's campaign, and he also did it using his. This is so stupid, but his name is Chris Irvine. His name isn't Chris Jericho. His name is Chris Irvine, and this shows the mentality of the man. He donated using his name Chris Jericho, which is just so bizarre. That's like Hulk Hogan thinking he's actually Hulk Hogan. You know, so weird. But yeah, no, he's. You'd be exactly right in thinking that he is. I don't think he's anti-mask because I've seen him with the mask on and all that. Maybe it's just for show, but I don't think he's anti-mask by any stretch. But he clearly hasn't taken COVID seriously from day one.
No.
And going on a podcast which is one of the most listened to in the world. His Talk is Jericho, and downplaying it.
That's because he injected himself with bleach.
Oh yeah. He followed the president's instructions. There we are. Anyway, it's stupid. But also on the show we had I think it was the Elite versus Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. and all that.
They call it the Elite, but technically they're the Bullet Club.
Yeah. They can't use it. They just can't use the thing. They keep on. I don't know if they're going there. This is completely conjecture. Every single time they're referring to the group of them, they keep on saying the band. The band is here. The band is back together. The band is here. Oh, look at the band. I hope to God they're not going to start calling them the band. I hope to God.
Oh well. At least we know the Young Bucks are out.
Yes. The Bucks are for now. But to be honest, my highlight of the show, I have to say, was Darby Allin versus Brian Cage. I thought it was such a damn good match.
It wasn't the dentist waiting room though.
Absolutely not. It was a clusterfuck. I enjoy them doing something with the women. I enjoy that.
I gotta admit, I love the fact that they had fireworks for. They had pyro for Cody's entrance.
Oh yeah, always with the pyro. He's very self-aware that people will sort of take the piss. I like it. It was a cluster. It was, and as you said, as everyone's sort of being pushed out of the room, we can clearly see it's a set with which you can just walk around, and yet they're pushing everyone through the damn door. It's like, oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, look, if they're doing something with the women, that's better than nothing. Which is, you know, basically what they did for the last 12 months. But no, Darby Allin and Brian Cage, they beat the living crap out of each other. Like, I don't know how Darby Allin walks. I really don't.
Maybe he's just made out of elastic.
He clearly is, because doing the coffin drop off on Brian Cage onto the steel steps, going through the table, all that crap. It's like it's crazy. I really enjoyed that match. I thought it was really good. And
yeah, I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and we saw Sting at the end.
Confused though, why at the very end you suddenly had Darby Allin's music playing and there was still snow falling.
Snow, yeah. Yeah, that was a bit
I didn't
weird.
know that was a Darby Allin thing.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, but I do, yeah. But I don't know why they didn't change it to Sting's music, but I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Maybe Darby Allin's got snow now.
But I bet you he will. I bet you after joining forces with Sting, I bet he will suddenly have snow. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed both shows on Wednesday. To be fair, as I said to you, I skipped over lots of it. I skipped over lots of the Dusty Rhodes Classic matches. I sort of fast forwarded through them just because some of them I knew. You just kind of already knew the outcome, but they're building good stories. I think AEW is doing the same. They're hinting at some nice stories again. And then we have a SmackDown.
Was robbed of the freaking title.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a very good match. But once again, it's a damn NWA Women's title, like that's on the show.
There wasn't an AEW wrestler though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for a change. But yeah, that was a very good match. I was wondering whether they were going to suddenly change the title holder, but I don't know if that's part of the deal with NWA or if it just sort of turns up there just to get some exposure. But
Yeah, I feel like we're wasting our time at that belt.
Yeah, but then SmackDown. So SmackDown happened.
I'm not sure how I feel about this episode, really. Because Jay just seemed to lose the plot in the opening segment.
Who did?
Jay.
Oh, yeah. I liked Paul Heyman talking to Roman right at the beginning. I thought that was good. And then, Jay kind of lost the plot.
Which is weird, because Jay's normally really fucking good when it comes to his mic.
Yeah. And obviously we have...
Or it was just some fucking shit, terrible script.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And obviously, as I was talking about last week, we're clearly now going back to Nakamura and Cesaro as single stars, but they're closely related, but single stars. They got their own music back.
I'm waiting for him to get ready to do it at the Royal Rumble where Cesaro kicks him out.
Yeah,
I want Cesaro to join Roman.
That wouldn't be a bad shout.
Also, Apollo to join Roman now too.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was a good idea. I thought that was a great idea, having Apollo just in his vicinity. Like, Apollo, anyone that's in Roman's vicinity right now, it does wonders for him. So I'm all for that. But yeah, I thought that Shinsuke and Cesaro getting their new music back, their own music back. But once again, it's sudden, isn't it? They didn't explain that. They just oh, there it is, happens again. They're no longer tag team.
Well, they haven't quite done it. They're no longer a tag team. They're still doing their bit. They're just doing.
They're like closely related.
Although I feel a bit sorry for Daniel Bryan because they just seem to want to kill him off right now.
Yeah.
He's got no momentum.
No, which is so bizarre, isn't it? It's like one of the most popular guys they've ever had on their show, like bar none, and yet they just feel like they have to try and kill him all the time. But I mean, I don't really know what else was really on the show. Like, you had the Adam Pearce thing.
You can't forget about Big E sitting on his sofa with his bowl of fruit.
That was great, actually. And he said something about being knuckle deep, which I nearly spat out my drink when I heard it. It was so funny. He was great. And here's a stark contrast, right? Big E was so good sitting there doing that. And then you had Dominic Mysterio. He's new, he's whatever, on commentary, and he's clearly not built for it.
No, not yet. He hasn't been there long enough to...
Yeah. He doesn't have that repartee and be able to chat back, but he'll get there. But
he's no Austin Theory.
But I think that's I think they done Dominic dirty there by having him do that on the same show when Big E was doing it, and Big E is just so damn good at it, so it makes Dominic look even worse. You know what I mean? But I love that. I thought that was so smart. Then we had the Adam Pearce stuff.
Well, yeah, I love the way everyone got it wrong though when it comes to the final reveal. They're all saying, "Oh, it's going to be Seth fighting Roman."
Oh. See, I didn't see that.
I've been seeing things around on social media, YouTube, saying, "Oh, it's Seth they're going to bring back."
Yeah. See, they were supposed to bring back Seth about 2 weeks ago, and they
face Rey Mysterio again.
Yeah. God, please don't. But they changed their mind just a couple of days before. So my assumption now is that Seth is going to be a Royal Rumble entrant. I assume that's how he's going to return.
Why on social media he's just going to say I'm in.
Yeah. He just. Oh, there we go. I'm in the match. Like Drew Gulak has to fight for it, but everyone else seems to just be able to declare themselves in the match. But do you know what's really weird? Is I kind of got to the point of quite looking forward to Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns.
Well, I did, because I even watched his last match in Ring of Honor against Adam Page.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, that's a shame. But because we've seen KO a couple of times with Roman, and they're good matches, but yeah, we've seen that, and I was like, I'm really interested to see where they go with Adam Pearce. That's a bit of a shame, but I suppose this one makes a bit more sense. But yeah, I mean that was really SmackDown. That was it, right? There wasn't much.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to SmackDown this week. Some really weird shit, basically.
And bearing in mind, we're now just about to start on the road to WrestleMania. In a couple of weeks. I don't really see their trajectory other than I don't know what Roman being a top guy, Drew being a top guy, Goldberg being there in some form. Everyone else just seems to be in the middle, not doing anything.
I can't quite work out right now on who's going to win the Royal Rumbles.
Neither can I. I have absolutely no idea where they're going to go with it.
Probably maybe Charlotte winning the winnings again.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. And if Seth does come back, maybe he wins it, but I don't think they would do that. I think they would. I think if he returns,
is this where Edge Cena comes back and wins the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I think if Seth returns at the Rumble, I think they'll use that. Like he'll be eliminated by someone, and they'll use that to start a story rather than him actually win it. But honestly, who knows? Maybe Goldberg wins it, and that's how we get to the Roman story.
You can't have them do what Becky did. He's no the man.
Don't you tell them what they can and can't do, because they will try it. They will try it.
I'm telling them what they can't do. They just won't listen.
But talking about WrestleMania, also this week, one of the bigger bits of news which broke yesterday was that WWE have announced their WrestleMania lineups for the next 3 years. So we have a 2-night WrestleMania this year again, April 10th and April 11th. They've pushed it back 2 weeks when it was supposed to be. It's going from the Raymond James Stadium where it was supposed to be held last year, and WWE have said that, or have indicated, I shouldn't say they've said it, they've indicated that there will be fans in attendance. The actual quote from WWE's press release says that in coordination with local partners and government officials, WWE will announce ticket availability and safety protocols for WrestleMania 37 in the coming weeks. So,
buy some.
Yeah, we can't get there, but we can buy some.
Watch me, I'll go by boat. They close the airport, took the boats.
Yeah, I think when they just say you can't leave your home, I think that's covered by it.
Who the fuck's been listening to that?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're here. And then they announced Dallas AT&T Stadium for the year after, for 2022, and then the SoFi Arena in Ingleton, California, just outside of LA, for 2023. So, and they released a little spoof video with Triple H and Stephanie pretending to be newscasters, and John Cena was in it and all this. It's a goofy little video.
That means getting WrestleMania on it. Yay!
I'm going to assume that's sort of an indicator, right?
You think he'll get to go up against Bray Wyatt again and get an actual match?
Who knows? No one's really having an actual match against Bray at the moment, are they?
Do you think the one where Undertaker finally has his Hall of Fame moment, that we might finally get the actual match against him and John Cena as a send-off?
I hope not.
I do, because I thought they both just finally deserved that match.
I think in a way they would have done, but it would not be a good match, let's be honest.
I never understood why, like, the following year, John Cena just didn't come up and just get that whole thing of those two.
Especially after watching The Last Ride, when you realise that Taker trained his arse off and was actually in a good place for that Mania, and he could have had a good match with Cena. That's in hindsight, that's the really annoying thing about that match.
You got a feeling Vince was too worried about how much Cena had been drinking in the crowd.
Yeah, he's a bit wavy sitting over there in the crowd. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not been much more news that's come out this week. It's been, obviously we know that lots and lots of shows have been affected by COVID-19 outbreaks, mainly because people went mixed, because there was parties that were held over New Year's and various things where people from Impact, AEW and WWE were all present. So basically it screwed up all three companies in one big shoot in lots of regards. We know that a couple of big stars of SmackDown tested positive, names not in the public domain. Obviously Drew McIntyre they announced, which was very bizarre because normally they've not been announcing any of this stuff really, WWE, and they had him do a thing on Raw about it.
Well, the problem is though now with that as well, there's going to be no momentum for this storyline.
No, because what Drew's... Well, I don't know America. I don't know if it's the same as ours. That means Drew will probably be off this Raw as well. I'm going to assume. I don't know when he tested positive, but I'm going to assume he's off this Raw as well. I don't know. And if he is, what's that? A week, 2 weeks build? to him and Goldberg. Not that I actually anticipated Goldberg being on the show anyway, leading up to it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird build to Royal Rumble in the sense that you really don't know. Firstly, you don't know what the hell's who's going to win the Royal Rumble matches. Nor do I actually have any indication of what other matches are going to be on the damn card.
I'm also surprised Roman Reigns hasn't just entered himself in the Royal Rumble so we can get the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
That's another rumor I've heard where they're planning they might get Roman Reigns on both.
Oh no!
I actually think that'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, if they do it, it'll be cool. I don't see them doing it because of the USA Fox thing, where they've been adamant about keeping brand splits, and they've actually honoured that over the past few months since there was a kickoff.
That's only with COVID.
Yeah, but since USA Network and it got really shitty at them, they've actually honoured it, which makes a change. We'll wait until the ratings drop again, and then they'll give Roman the women's title, the tag team titles.
Back underground. Yes.
Yeah, so all the ratings woes.
Underground back.
But anyway, that is it for this week in wrestling. Please head on over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast over there. Like and subscribe to us here on YouTube. It means a lot. And we'll see you next week for another video. We are out.